We'll be honest, most of the actors in Fallout look exactly like their character, but if you're curious about where you've seen them outside of the Wasteland, you're in the right place. If you had to pin down a single person as the main character of Fallout, it'd be Lucy McLean. She's a viewpoint character for much of the insanity that unfolds in the Wasteland, especially because her immediate family seems to be responsible for much of it.
When I pointed out that he wasn't following the golden rule, he put a leash around my neck and he made me drink from potted water that I'm pretty sure was just some kind of animal pee.
Well, that is interesting.
As for Ella Purnell, you've likely seen her around in plenty of other places. Her screen credits date back to 2010, although her first big role was probably in 2016's Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Since then, she's only picked up steam. From her role as Lady Maria Gray in the historical miniseries Belgravia, to Jackie Taylor in Yellow Jackets, to her ongoing headlining role in Sweet Pea, Purnell's star has been on a roll lately, and she isn't slowing down anytime soon. Walton Goggins, aka Cooper Howard, aka The Ghoul, isn't your typical bad guy. Before the apocalypse, Cooper was a Hollywood celebrity who slowly became involved with Vault Tech and the various forces that conspired to bring forth the end of days.
Damn, y'all ain't got me working up an appetite.
Glue his nose back on, and you'll probably instantly recognize Goggins, who spent over 2 decades climbing steadily toward his current status as one of the most recognizable faces in movies and television. He broke through on Sean Ryan's FX crime drama The Shield, and further established himself as a guy to watch on the network's acclaimed neo-western Justified as Boyd Crowder. His other winning TV roles include, just to name a few, Rip Taggart on the history military drama 6, Rich Hackett in The White Lotus, and Uncle Baby Billy on the HBO comedy The Righteous Gemstones.
Ta-da! Look who it is!
Goggins has also appeared in tons of movies, including the Quentin Tarantino films Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. The Brotherhood of Steel is one of the most prominent factions in the Fallout franchise, and Maximus is our window into the live-action version of this militant group. Maximus and Lucy's storylines reflect each other in many ways, as they experience different aspects of the Wastelands through their own lenses. Actor Aaron Moten is no stranger to big projects. In 2016, he played the recurring role of Petey on HBO's crime drama The Night Of, and from 2017 to 2018, he co-starred with Kathy Bates on the Netflix comedy Disjointed. Vault Overseer, mass murderer, relic of a bygone era, and a devoted dad, Lucy's father, Hank McLean, is all of these things and more. One of the surprisingly many old-timey Vault Tech employees who survived the apocalypse via cryogenics and thawed out centuries later, Hank is the kind of guy who would nuke an entire town and subject countless people to mind control because he believes that's what needs to be done.
And I believe, Lucy, I know I made the right choice.
The friendly face behind the character makes Hank even creepier. After all, Kyle MacLachlan is most famously known as Dale Cooper, the coffee-loving protagonist of Twin Peaks.
Oh, man, that hits the spot.
MacLachlan was a common Lynch collaborator back in the day, and fans will also recognize him as Paul Atreides in the original 1984 adaptation of Dune and Jeffrey Beaumont in Blue Velvet. He also got to flex his villain muscles under the director in one of his multiple Cooper-adjacent roles on the Outers 2017 Season 3/revival series Twin Peaks: The Return. Of course, MacLachlan has appeared in a ton of other projects, and Fallout simply marks the latest iconic role that he'll forever be known for. Lucy's brother Norm is so smart that even other clever characters can find him unnerving. He uses his brains to meticulously solve the secrets behind the home vault and the ones connected to it, and gets into all sorts of trouble while he's at it. The intense Norm is deftly played by Moisés Arias. Before Fallout, Arias was arguably best known as Rico Suave on the Disney Channel sitcom Hannah Montana. Still, that's only the tip of the iceberg. Since 2005, Arias has appeared in all sorts of projects, from family-friendly films and shows of his early career to a mid-2010s transition toward more serious and intense roles in projects like the 2015 psychological thriller The Stanford Prison Experiment. More recently, he has appeared in movies like The King of Staten Island and the 2023 sci-fi thriller Divinity. When the viewer discovers that Cooper Howard's wife Barb is higher up at Vault Tech, warning bells ring whenever she appears. Like many other Fallout characters, Barb is far from a one-note person. The role requires both loving warmth and steely toughness, but Frances Turner pulls it all off without issue. A veteran of quirky Prime Video adaptations, Turner is known for playing Monique Milk on The Boys. She's also played recurring roles in projects like the Fox superhero show The Gifted, Prime Video's dystopian sci-fi series The Man in the High Castle, and the NBC medical drama New Amsterdam. Thaddeus wears a lot of hats on Fallout, and not all of them make him look good. While an integral part of Maximus's storyline, he starts out as a remorseless bully. In Season 2, Thaddeus is as flawed as he's ever been, but he has a little more nuance as a character.
You know what the best part about this place is? Nobody wakes you up in the morning to do push-ups or makes you carry around a big old bag all the time.
An interesting character requires an interesting actor, and Fallout rose to the challenge by casting Johnny Pemberton. He got his first screen credits in 2007 and has worked diligently ever since, landing multiple projects every year. A specialist in offbeat comedy, Pemberton is known for projects like Son of Zorn, 21 Jump Street, and the NBC sitcom Superstore. Out of all the characters in Fallout Season 1, Lee Moldava might just be the most mysterious. She starts as a pretty ruthless antagonist who jumpstarts Lucy McLean's Wasteland adventure with the bloody abduction of her father. However, Moldava turns out to be a far more complex individual than some mere villain. This intense role is played by Sarita Choudhury. She's worked steadily throughout the decades, but she exploded into prominence in the 2010s with projects like Homeland, the Hunger Games films, The Path, and Jessica Jones. In the 2020s, Choudhury joined the Sex and the City revival series, and just like that. As the only person who recognizes Maximus's determination and positive qualities in the Brotherhood of Steel, Dane is the aspiring knight's closest friend and confidant. Initially, Dane seems to be the more capable of the pair and a shoo-in for a squire promotion. But a foot injury caused by a razor blade in a boot changes the course of events, and Maximus ends up landing the square gig. Dane is played by Xelia Mendes-Jones, who is a relative newcomer in the industry. Originally a promising soccer player and a model, his first screen role was an episode of an online sketch comedy show in 2018. But from 2023 onward, he's taken advantage of some huge industry breaks. Aside from Fallout, in 2023, he appeared in multiple episodes of Prime Video's The Wheel of Time as Renner, and he also snagged a role in the 2025 Tom Hardy Netflix action film Havoc, helmed by the Raid director Gareth Evans. Stephanie Steph Harper starts Fallout Season 1 as Lucy's almost ethereally happy best friend, who has it all figured out. However, a bandit attack leaves her widowed, sans one eye, and with a new outlook that's increasingly unnerving. She becomes a new overseer of the reclaimed Vault 32, and before long, it becomes clear that Steph is actually a pre-war Vault Tech employee with hidden debts and a surprisingly malicious streak.
Chet? Are we having an argument?
Annabel O'Hagan is another one of the show's comparative newcomers, which makes it doubly more impressive to see her hold her own against everyone else in the cast. Before Fallout, O'Hagan only had half a dozen comparatively small roles to her name. Out of them, the most prominent one is arguably her screen acting debut in Law & Order Special Victims Unit, Season 21, Episode 17, where she guest starred as Delia. With 2 seasons of Fallout under her belt now, there's nowhere to go but up.
But it's hard to imagine being so dim as to be caught off guard by the inevitable.
Robert House is easily the most prominent new character introduced in Fallout Season 2. The man presiding over both Robco Industries and the show's version of Las Vegas is as enigmatic as they come, but as his brain control technology and fast knowledge readily prove, he can be incredibly dangerous when he chooses to be. Technically, House makes an appearance in Fallout Season 1, but that version of the character is usually a body double. The real Mr. House enters the fray in the opening moments of the sophomore season, played by 2-time Emmy winner Justin Theroux. Theroux is a bona fide movie star, with films like Mulholland Drive, Zoolander, and Beetlejuice in his resume. However, he's never been averse to making small screen appearances. When he does, he usually makes an impact. Just look at his role as Kevin Garvey in HBO's tragic fantasy drama The Leftovers. Fallout is definitely a worthy inclusion in its small screen credentials.
Away, profligate.
The Legate is effectively the mouthpiece of Caesar's Legion, as far as the show is concerned. When Lucy is captured and brought in the Legion's camp, she primarily interacts with this high-ranking officer, who's precisely as bemused about the Vault Dweller's quirky behavior as you'd expect. Fallout Season 2 made a very fun casting decision when it was time to find the actor for that. That would be none other than Macaulay Culkin. Most famous, of course, for playing Kevin McAllister in Home Alone.
I'm up here, you morons! Come and get me!
It's a fun surprise, and even better than the jarring visual of seeing his familiar face under the mask is the fact that Culkin is genuinely pretty great as a confident, sneering villain. Culkin's string of 1990s roles in films like the first two Home Alone movies, My Girl, The Good Son, and Richie Rich is one of the more memorable child star runs in memory. His acting never quite stopped, but his high-profile releases became far more sporadic as he matured. In recent years, he started tackling more visible roles once again, particularly with his appearance in the 2021 season of American Horror Story, and of course, Fallout.